Hey, I'm Beth Riley, and this is the Artist Spotlight podcast series. And today I'm very honored to have with me a 5-time Grammy-nominated bluesy rock and roll guitarist and artist, Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Kenny, how are you?
How's it going? I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll talk about the Kenny Wayne Shepherd Backroads Blues Festival in just a bit. But first, I'd like to bring up your birthday plans. You got a birthday coming up next month, actually.
That's right. Yeah, June 12th.
Yeah. The day before your 45th birthday, you'll be in Indiana. And then for your actual birthday on June 12th, you'll be in Ohio. On both of those days, you'll be with friends, Samantha Fish. And one name I do want to mention is my birthday buddy, Shamika Copeland, who is also the Blues Entertainer of the Year. How excited are you to be a part of that with them?
And we also have Venable, who's joining us as well.
Absolutely.
So it's basically some of the hottest young ladies in the blues genre today. So it's I'm really excited, especially, I've known all of them for a long time, especially Shamika. We go way back. So, I'm just really excited that they're all coming out for the show and they're going to do their thing. And, we've really been trying to show our support of women in the blues, in the past couple of years, because I think, there's a lot of young talent out there that deserves more exposure. And then there's, on both sides, men and women, but there's certainly a lot of young ladies that are really, making a name for themselves and doing their own thing and really putting on great concerts. Shamika, in my opinion, is the modern day queen of the blues. And so, I just want to show my support and appreciation for the women in the genre as well.
Well, I have to support Shamika. Like I said, she and I share an April 10th birthday. So
right on.
You were speaking about the young artists in blues music. Coming up on August 13th of this year, you are curating and also performing at the upcoming inaugural Backroads Blues Festival.
That's right.
You have a pretty awesome first tour lineup with Buddy Guy and I'm not going to attempt to say his first name because I don't want to mess it up, but Kingfish Ingram.
That's right. Yeah. So, the Backroads Blues Festival this is the inaugural run. This is something that we anticipate being an annual event. And we decided we wanted to start off, the first year with a big statement, and so having Buddy Guy and the Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band and Christone, Kingfish, Ingram all on the same bill for the first year, I think is a pretty big statement. We're all electric blues players, but I think, over the course of the life of the festival in the years to come, we're going to feature, all different kinds of music, blues music, like whether it's like acoustic blues, Mississippi Delta, or if it's modern day blues, electric blues, blues rock, but the goal is to have the hottest artists in the genre out on the tour. And, when I was a kid, one of the things that I look forward to the most and some of my fondest concert memories were going to see the blues festival that B.B. King always did. And I saw some of the greatest names in blues on that tour every year, when it went through the country. I saw B.B. and Etta James and Buddy Guy and Joe Cocker, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimmy Vaughan and so forth and so on, and just had so many great memories from that. And I wanted to create something that's going to give, the fans of today, of the genre today, to have an opportunity to have the same kind of memories.
Now, it's hard to believe it's been 25 years since your sophomore album, Trouble Is. Mm-hmm. Which you and your band are also doing you're out on tour for that, right? For the 25th anniversary of it?
Yeah, we're out doing that tour right now. And it's going really well. Most of the shows have been sold out or nearly sold out. And it's been a really fun experience, getting reacquainted with some of those songs off that record that we haven't played in a really long time. We're playing the whole album in the show, which we never did ever before. We've never played the whole album in a live concert before. So that's a first. And then, we do that and then we go off and we come back on for an encore. And it's actually almost a whole nother set of music where, we've picked some of our favorite songs from albums that we've done since Trouble Is came out. So it's, it's a 2-hour long concert and it's full of highlights and lots of energy, and the fans really seem to be walking away very happy with it.
Do you notice younger people enjoying your music as well as people around our age now?
Well, first of all, the fans that we've accumulated over the years, those people generally become lifelong fans. The blues audience is an audience that becomes fans for life. So we have carried these those fans along with us on the journey for, going on 30 years now, if you go all the way back to the first record. But
right.
I think due to my story of me and my career starting at such a young age, I think that people hear that story and, young kids inevitably show up at our show,
right.
Whether it's their parents bringing them or they've played guitar, they're learning guitar and they're getting into blues and they've heard about me or whatever. But yes, I mean, our shows, the demographic at our shows goes from 5 to 65 or 75 years old. I mean, we have a huge age range of people in the audience, although the majority probably rests right between 35 to 65. But you certainly see a lot of young people coming to the shows depending on the market as well. And a lot of times you'll see parents bringing their kids to the show, which, is always nice because then, it's a concert that the whole family can go and enjoy.
That's awesome. Speaking of Trouble Is, I have to ask you, do you have a favorite track from the album?
I would say Blue on Black, obviously, would be the obvious choice because that song accomplished so much and is such a special song to so many people. And it really kind of broke through a lot of barriers musically and, hit the mainstream. And I mean, when that song was on the radio, it set the record at the time for the most weeks at #1 in the history of the rock charts. And that album Trouble Is still holds the record for the longest #1 album in the history of the blues charts. So, I mean, all around it was a really significant record.
And Noah Hunt on vocals just kills that song. I mean, it is amazing. And of course, you wrote that song and did a fantastic job with that as well. But I mean, Noah just delivers that one.
Yeah, well, Noah, that was his first record with us. And for him to come in, and I mean, when we found him, we tried out a bunch of different vocalists. And, it was pretty obvious to me that when I heard him sing that I thought this was the right voice for the band at the time. And so now, we've been doing it together for 25 years, which is pretty amazing.
I skipped over your debut album. I was a fan of that one too. Of course, I've been following you your entire career, so I want to talk about Ledbetter Heights too. That was such a great album for such a young artist.
Actually, it came out when I was, I think I had just turned 18. I signed my deal when I was 16 with the record company, and then I recorded it at 17, and then I think it came out right after I turned 18 years old. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely, a significant record. I mean, it went up, the first single went to #5 on the rock charts, and, the album sold 500,000 copies, went gold like really fast, went on to sell over 1 million copies, and it's what put me on the map for sure.
Do you have a favorite track from that album? I have to ask.
Yeah, thank you.
And what is your favorite track from that one?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries.
My favorite track from the Ledbetter Heights record, to be honest, I mean, it's like, look, it's kind of like all these songs, when you write these songs, I mean, there's a couple cover songs on that one, but when you write songs, it's kind of like, which child is your favorite child? It's, trying to choose a favorite child is kind of a weird question to ask.
Yeah.
But actually, I like the opening track, Born with a Broken Heart. I mean, because I think that's a really good, I mean, we came out, the first track on the record kind of makes a statement. It kind of tells the story of some of my heroes, and then also, me being inspired by them to play the music that I play.
And speaking of that, do you have any big influences? Who would your big influences be musically?
Most of my influences are pretty obvious in my playing. I mean, you got B.B. King, Albert King, Freddie King, Albert Collins, Stevie Ray, Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Winter, Billy Gibbons, the guys that mixed blues and rock. And I mean, just kind of like the who's who of the blues really is. Those are the people that really inspired me.
Do you have any advice for young people out there that might want to get into music at a young age? You have 5 of your own, correct?
Yeah, well, actually, we have 6 kids.
6,
but,
okay.
My kids they're all musical, and, I would love to see them pursue something in music, but I'm not going to try and convince them to do it. Nobody told me, that I needed to practice guitar.
Right.
Or, guided me down the path of trying to pursue a career in music. It was something that I loved and something that I wanted to do. And so I just feel like if my kids want to do it, they'll do it. And the reality is, at least in my experience, is that I played guitar because I love to play guitar. And it just made me really happy. And it was something I enjoyed doing at home by myself, and I got a lot of joy out of doing it. And it's kind of like one of those things where you just kind of have to have faith in the process and and faith in, what is kind of like ahead for you as a person or as an artist or whatever. It's like, I truly feel like if your path in your life is meant to lead you into a career of music, then that's what's going to happen. As long as you put in the work and the effort, then it'll happen for you. But never forget that we started playing music in the beginning for nobody and just for the love of doing it, and personal satisfaction. And if you can stay in touch with that, then maybe there won't be this massive disappointment if you don't wind up having a career that pays your bills in music. Because ultimately, it's like, I'd never picked up guitar and learned how to play it because I wanted to, I was like, this is what I'm going to do for my job. It was like, no, this is what I love to do on a daily basis in my bedroom, and then it turned into my job.
Is there a certain time period that you would like to go back in time to? My husband and I always talk about, getting a time machine, going back in time and finding each other sooner. Is there like a certain decade or a certain year that you'd like to go back in time to?
Well, not a specific year, but I have to say, like, for me, then it becomes about like the era of the instruments and the cars that I love, which is the 50s and the 60s, is when the best guitars were made and some of the best American automotive designs were ever created. But musically, what's really crazy is like when I listen to music from like the 1940s, like swing, that big band music really kind of calls to me. It's like I kind of really wish that I could have, experienced that era where everybody's walking around in suits and ties and hats and, stuff like that, and going and listening to big bands,
Right.
That's a pretty cool era for sure.
Okay, nice. If you could take 3 to 5 albums with you to a desert island, what 3 to 5 albums would you take with you?
I'd probably take Muddy Waters' Hard Again,
Nice.
Which is one of my favorite blues albums of all time. I'd probably take a B.B. King Live at the Regal Theater, and probably James Brown Live at the Apollo, Revolution of the Mind, because just amazing performance.
Anything coming up for you other than the festival and, of course, your 45th birthday before that? Anything else coming up for you? Any music in the works or anything like that?
We have some video content, and we have some music that's going to come out later this year. That's the plan anyways, that relates to the 25th anniversary of Trouble Is. So there'll be an announcement about that coming up soon. We also have a whole brand new record that we recorded right before COVID happened, and I've been holding on to it the whole time. And that'll probably come out early next year as well. So, there's a lot of material that's going to be coming out, a lot of content. And then, the Backroads Blues Festival for this year. And then we're already looking to next year with that tour as well. So, there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's a pretty exciting time for us right now.
And if people want to find out more about Kenny Wayne Shepherd or Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band, where can they go to find out information about you guys?
Well, we have the website, kennywayneshepherd.net. And then, we have the social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, and tour dates and stuff. It's always amazing to me. Like, people are like, hey, when are you coming to this place? Or when are you coming to that place? And it's like, well, we have a whole section of our website dedicated to just the tour dates, so just go over there and check it out.
Yeah.
And, or they can sign up. We have this thing called the 11 Club. It's our email mailing list, and we send out promotions and pre-sale discount codes and things like that, and tour date announcements through that. And they can sign up through our website for the 11 Club, and then that basically keeps you up to date on everything that we're doing.
Well, Kenny, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today and be a guest with me here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.